exploring supplier journal expense, a new way to handle expenses. So this is an experimental feature that's very important. So first of all, in order to experience this particular feature, you will have to reach out to your service partners and ask them to enable this for you. So the partners will be able to do that. And then once you have enabled it, then you will have to manually enable it for your particular branch if you're having multiple branches. Yes, so simplify expense management. So handle supplier related expenses in an efficient manner, and you can improve the accuracy as well by accurately recording all the different types of expenses and gain insights and control over supplier expenses. So supplier journal expenses is basically an item journal expense, and I'll be explaining to you how this works. So in this particular workspace, the item journal expense was enabled, and that is in. So you can see here under the experimental features. Right now we have so many experimental features like the keyboard shortcuts, the HRM feature, the item journal expense, the marketplace, so and so. So item journal expense, I need to select it, and I need to enable it manually for which particular branch I want it to be enabled. So I'm going to select my first branch, the head office branch, and this can. So item journal expense has been introduced. So how can we see it? So first of all, you need to create an item journal expense. So let us create a new item. That's so journal expense item, right? So I'm gonna put the GST, KG, something like that, and a normal item here. So this is a specialty. So you can see the item attributes, you can see the inventory, you can see the item group, and here you can have the item expenses as well. So this is the way in which an item will be created. This is a normal way. You're submitting it. Next, you need to go to the three dots option here, and then you have different options like add units, adjustments, inventory out. Then you have the journal expense. So you add the journal expense here. So with regards to a particular, so mellow sound traders, and let me write or cartage, and the amount of expense I'm going to add it is going to be 1,000. So what I did here is, let's take an example. Let's take a service-based company. Imagine a tile. It's not a manufacturing company. You're doing some kind of a work with the help of tiles or marbles or something like that. You're helping them for interior, decoration or something like that. All of those interior works. You as a company, you're not doing it directly. You're doing it with the help of a contractor. So you'll be generating a lot of invoices, right? That's one thing. You'll be creating a lot of invoices, and they will be providing you purchase bills. But in some situations, there will be a lot of expenses for which the purchase bill will not be generated. So what happens in such situations? You won't be able to associate that expense from the purchase bill, right? So in such situations, you have to pass a journal. You will have to add a journal expense. But how to do that easily? How to do that conveniently. This is where the item journal expense comes into picture. So we have all of these things, and we have created a journal also. We created an item journal where we have marked the amount, so many things. Yes, ma'am, this is an experimental feature. Right now, you need to reach out to your service partner and then enable it in your workspace, then only it will work, right? So I did add my journal expense here. Let me just show it to you. Related to mellow sound traders, this is a supplier. If I want to, I can add multiple journal expenses also. So if I want to, like for mellow sound traders itself and some another, so maintenance expense against this particular item, I could say at 250 rupees. If I want to do that, I can do that. So if I want to add multiple item journal expenses, you will be able to do that. Sorry, I didn't explain it the first time around. So you can submit it. So a total of journal expense against the supplier mellow sound traders. It comes under two categories, and the amount will be 1,000 and 250 rupees. So I hope it's clear. We have the journal expense section also. So we haven't added any stock or anything like that. So that's one thing. Let's do one thing. I haven't added any stock here, right? I think the negative part is enabled. So let's create an invoice. Sharma, is any catalog enabled? No. So journal expense. So we're adding three items like this to that particular customer. Okay, there's an issue. We need to change the customer because the value won't be right. Javan, yes. So we have created an invoice against Javan Associates, and the item is item journal, sorry, journal expense item. You need to go to payment and we can add payment directly here. Then we have the item expense and then we have the option to associate the journal expense, right? So we have one item, the date against which uh, item we're doing it. And then we have the supplier's name from which we bought this item. The charges are also mentioned and we can simply save it. So we can come down and you could see that against these journals, we have created journals for mellow sound traders as sundry debtors, freight charge, right? And then we have creditors, and we have mentioned the freight charge. Then we have creditors again. In such a way, we have created all these journals. So we have created 1, 2, 3, 4 journals based on the number of quantities that we have bought in. Sorry, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So yes. So there are three quantities, and against three quantities, we have. So if we have two journal expenses added against a single quantity, then we will be having two journals. So if you have three quantities, then a total of 6 journals will be created. That's the way it works. All right. So let's go to the account section. And you could see all the journals are created here. Journal expense item, related journal, and all the value has been properly added. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 journals has been created. Now, so this is the way in which the item journal expense works. So let me just explain this. Sometimes you won't get the purchase bill. You won't get the purchase bill related to that particular item. So you need to add the expense. You already add the expense if the value is particularly known. So while creating the invoice itself related to that particular item, you associate the expense. What kind of expense? It's a journal expense that you will be associating. So you associate the journal expense and it will be directly being created under the journal side in your accounting part also. So that is the advantage of working with item journal expense, which is right now an experimental feature. We will be improving a lot of functionality here, and then we'll be introducing it not as an experimental feature so that everybody will be able to smoothly and conveniently and efficiently use it in the future.